Thousands of years ago, humans did something almost ridiculous. We looked at wolves, actual wild predators with teeth, instincts, and zero interest in being cute, and somehow turned them into dogs. Wild cattle became cows. Wild boars became pigs. Wild horses became transportation, workers, companions, and eventually the reason some people still say, "I was born in the wrong century." Entire species were slowly reshaped to fit human civilization. But here is the strange part most people never think about. Almost all of that happened a very long time ago. Which raises a weird question. Have humans already domesticated everything worth domesticating? Or is there still an animal alive today that could become the next dog? And surprisingly, if scientists had to place a bet, one animal would probably be near the top of the list: foxes. But to understand why foxes are such a strong candidate, we first need to understand something important. Most animals are terrible candidates for domestication. People often confuse taming with domestication, but they are not the same thing. A tiger raised by humans can become tame. It might tolerate people, it might even seem affectionate, but it is still a tiger. And if something goes wrong, you are not dealing with a spicy house cat. Domestication is much deeper. It happens when an entire population changes genetically over many generations. The animal does not just learn to live with humans. Its body, behavior, instincts, and reproduction begin to shift around human life. And that is incredibly hard. Take zebras. On paper, zebras seem like they should work. They are horse-sized, they are strong, they live in groups. They look like someone unlocked the premium skin for a horse. But domesticated zebras basically do not exist. Why? Because zebras are aggressive, unpredictable, difficult to control, and hard to breed selectively. The traits that made horses useful are not automatically present just because an animal looks similar. Most species fail the domestication test before humans even begin. Some are too aggressive, some panic too easily, some refuse to breed in captivity, some grow too slowly. Others do not have the kind of social structure that allows humans to become part of their world. That is the hidden reason domestication is so rare. It is not enough for an animal to be useful. It also has to be calm enough, social enough, flexible enough, and genetically responsive enough to change over generations. In other words, humanity probably picked most of the obvious winners thousands of years ago, but maybe not all of them. Which brings us back to foxes. In 1959, Soviet geneticist Dmitry Belyaev began one of the most fascinating experiments in biology. His goal was surprisingly simple: take wild silver foxes and breed only the friendliest ones. Not the biggest, not the smartest, not the prettiest. Just the foxes that were least afraid of humans and most willing to approach them. Generation after generation, only the tamest foxes were selected to reproduce. And then something strange happened. The foxes did not just become friendlier. They started changing in ways nobody expected. Their ears became floppier, their tails curled, their coats developed new colors and patterns. Some began seeking human attention, wagging their tails, whining for contact, and following people around. Basically, by selecting for friendliness, scientists accidentally started producing foxes that looked and behaved more like dogs. And this happened in just a few decades, which is almost nothing in evolutionary time. The experiment suggested something powerful. When an animal begins adapting to human companionship, the changes do not stay only in behavior. Appearance can change. Hormones can change. Development can change. The whole animal can begin to shift. That is why foxes are probably the strongest modern candidate for domestication. We already know the process can work. But here is the problem. Just because humans can domesticate foxes does not mean we actually will. For most of human history, domestication solved practical problems. Animals gave us food, transportation, protection, labor, warmth, and companionship. They pulled carts, guarded homes, carried people, hunted with us, and helped us survive. But today, technology has taken over many of those jobs. We do not need foxes to pull a wagon. We do not need raccoons to guard the village. And no matter how talented a crow is, it probably will not replace your delivery app. So, if foxes became fully domesticated tomorrow, what role would they actually fill? Maybe companionship, maybe research, maybe nothing big at all. And that leads to a more interesting idea. Maybe the next domesticated animal will not be chosen because humans desperately need it. Maybe it will happen because a species naturally becomes compatible with human life. We have seen this before with cats. Humans did not create cats the same way we created dogs. Cats mostly domesticated themselves. When early farming societies stored grain, mice showed up. The mice attracted wild cats. The cats got easy food. Humans got free pest control. The friendliest cats benefited most, and over time, both species adapted to each other. No one sat down and said, "Today we invent the house cat." The relationship simply emerged. And maybe future domestication will happen the same way. Evolution has not stopped. Animals are still adapting to us right now. Urban foxes are learning to survive in cities. Crows recognize individual human faces. Some birds use traffic to crack nuts. Entire species are adjusting to human environments in ways our ancestors never could have imagined. So maybe, somewhere on Earth, another animal is already taking the first steps down the same path wolves and cats once took. Not because humans planned it, not because scientists decided to create it, but because living near humans gives that species an advantage. If we had to guess, foxes are probably the safest answer. They are intelligent, adaptable, social enough, and we have already seen how quickly they can change under selective breeding. But the more fascinating possibility is that the real next domesticated animal may already be out there, quietly learning how to live beside us while we have not even noticed it.